Hi, I warmly invite you to a lecture on the bones of the forearm and the elbow joint. We are moving on to the distal elements of the upper limb, where we can observe the remarkable cooperation between the two bones lying parallel to each other, as shown on the title slide. We will also take a look at what is hidden beneath the joint capsule of the elbow joint, and how this unique articulation, composed of three distinct structural components, appears. We will begin with the forearm, within which we distinguish two bones. The slide shows the left side structures in the anatomical position, in an anterior view. Thus, medially there is the ulnar bone, ulna, marked in blue, whereas laterally there is the radial bone, radius, marked in orange. We may briefly consider the origin of their foreign names, which of course derive from Latin. Ulna simply meant the elbow, and due to its easily palpable termination in the form of the olecranon, the forearm together with the hand was used as a unit of measurement. You probably recall historical descriptions in which a structure, for example, had a height of 10 cubits. Radius, on the other hand, in Latin meant a ray of a circle or a spoke of a wheel, which referred to the movements performed by this bone as it rotates around the ulnar bone during pronation and supination. We'll talk about this later in this recording. I would like to point out immediately that both presented structures belong to the long bones, in which we distinguish a proximal end and distal end and a shaft. Each of them has three surfaces and three borders, among which the most notable is the interosseous border. For the ulnar bone, this is also the lateral border, and for the radial bone, the medial one. Let us now move on the proximal end of the ulnar bone, ulna. On the left side we can see both forearm bones from an anterosuperior view, and on the right, the left ulnar bone alone, shown in the lateral view. The characteristic structure here is the olecranon, marked in blue. This is the element that is easily palpable and is most commonly referred to as the elbow by lay persons. The name olecranon derives from Greek and literally means the tip or summit of the elbow, which indeed corresponds to its appearance, especially when we look at the illustration on the right, where the olecranon fits into the dedicated olecranon fossa on the humerus during full extension of the elbow joint. Another structure is the coronoid process, processus coronoideus, marked in beige. The name is linked to the fact that the projects anteriorly, which is emphasized by the right side image and the icon of the bird with its beak extended. Now let us note that these two processes together form a specific concavity known as the trochlear notch, incisura trochlearis, marked in navy blue. This notch articulates with the trochlea of the humerus, enabling flexion movements in the elbow joint. Let us once again look at the illustration on the right, we can see an additional notch of the lateral side, the radial notch, incisura radialis, marked in orange. This is the site for the head of the radial bone, as shown on the left side of the slide. Among the additional structures located closer to the shaft of the ulnar bone, we must mention the ulnar tuberosity, tuberositas ulna, marked in red. As the term tuberosity suggests, it serves as a muscle attachment point. In this case, it is dedicated to the brachialis muscle. Now we will focus on the distal end of the ulna. On the slide, the left side shows the anterior view and the right side shows the posterior view. Remember that these terms refer to the anatomical position in which the hand is facing forward. In general, it can be said that the ulna ends with head of ulna, caput ulna. I have marked it in orange on both images. Note that this structure articulates with the radius, therefore it will have an articular surface in the form of articular circumference of the head of ulna, circumferentia articularis capitis ulna. This structure covers about 3/5 of the circumference of the head of the ulna on the side of the radius. Medially, within the distal part of the discast bone, there is styloid process, processus styloideus, marked in blue. This is also a structure that can be easily palpated. The second forearm bone is the aforementioned radius. Once again, we start from the proximal part. The figure on the left is familiar to us, while on the right we see the entire discast structure in the anterior view. This time we have the classic arrangement as head, caput radi, is located proximal to neck, column radi, which I think is clearly visible in the images. Now let us look more closely at the head. In general, it is covered with an articular surface, and looking at it from above, we noticed radial favea, favea capitis radi. I marked it in beige on the left, and on the right I indicated it with an arrow. This is of course the necessary depression in which the humeral head fits, about which I will explain more shortly. The remaining part of the head of the radius forms articular circumference of the head of radius, circumferentia articularis capitis radi. Something similar to what we discussed on the previous slide. This time this structure adapts to the radial notch of the ulna. Another analogy between the forearm bones is the presence of radial tuberosity, tuberositas radi. I marked in red.
Hi, thank you for watching my video. If you are interested in anatomical lectures, I invite you to my platform schoolofanatomy.com. There you will find full-length lecture videos where I discuss every topic using specific anatomical illustrations, and I also translate anatomical terms into Latin. You will also find numerous topic-based quizzes to test your knowledge. If you would like to receive regular doses of anatomy content, subscribe to my channel and sign up for the newsletter. I share every new lecture published on the platform, and every fifth lecture is available in the full version on YouTube. All links you will find in the video description. Thank you very much for watching and see you soon. School of Anatomy, Maciej Haberk.